Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TC Worlds 2019. Thank you so much for joining me. We are continuing with our expanded coverage of the decks that have been talked about quite a bit for expanded regionals now that we have Team Up, and Lucario GX has been continually mentioned because just as it is a counter to PIKACHU in standard, it also should be a really good counter in expanded, arguably better so, purely because we have the focus sash, which means that if our fighting Pokemon would be completely or immediately knocked out by an attack, Lucario GX would actually survive with 10 HP instead. So really nice to have that option in here. The one thing that I feel like I'm missing here is perhaps a B-string, which means I will be doing this small change just to have a little bit of variety or difference with my weakness. So I am playing one Landorus GX and one Buzzwole GX. Both of them deal 30 damage to the bench with their first attack and 30 to the active. Hammerhead 30 and 30, and then Buzzwole also 30 and 30. We could end up powering up to Knuckle Impact. We could end up using Swing Around as well, but definitely want to focus on the one energy attacks that are super good, like Sledgehammer, Jet Punch, Hammerhead, and of course the Aura Strike. 30 damage plus 90 more if Riolu evolved during this turn to 110 HP, a really nice amount. And then Cyclone Kick also has potential to be used. 130 damage for 3 energy, very decent amount, especially because you have strong energies and Muscle Band and Diancie to increase that damage output. And then the beautiful thing of Lucario GX with Focus Sash is that Cantankerous Beatdown deals 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So if they swing into Lucario and they don't KO it, they are in for a really bad time. We have the Roadblocks to the Woodrow to make sure that Zoroark doesn't get too out of control, although we should have a very positive matchup against Zoroark. We have a 2-2 Octillery line for consistency purposes. Abyssal Hand is just a really nice ability to have. And then we have the one of Lele for consistency as well. Now supporters wise, we have 3 Karina, 3 and 2 Juniper, 3 Guzma, 1 Colress and 2 Acerola. So we have a decent variety. The Karinas really round out the deck because they find the Pokemon you need and also an item card, so you can find the Professor's Letter if you're needing energy, the Focus Ashes to make sure that you survive, the Enhanced Hammer to make sure that you remove a Flash Energy from a PIKACHU, or the Field Blower to make sure that you have abilities activated and or remove potential weakness policies. For Ultra for maximum consistency, Dull Brooklet Hill helps in setting up as well to be a Seeker to use the supporters that we do have, and then 2 Float Stones and 1 Muscle Band for utility purposes. Our 8th pick of choice is Scoop Up Cyclone in order to act as a non-supporter Acerola, and it can also be searched for by Karina. And so let's jump into a ladder. Though I do have to save the change of the Landorus. Let's jump into a ladder and we'll see how this goes. Expanded Lucario. Let's jump into that. As you can see, the next 2 decks that we have right now are also expanded on fighting type. We're gonna be reviewing the Hitmonchan Wolf deck that has been getting a lot of hype as well, and then finally we'll move on to Buzzwole Carver Shrine of Punishment. We might have a standard deck in between those two, but I would like to go first. I assume we're up against Archie's Blastoise, which is definitely not a great matchup for this deck, although Focus Sash goes a long way in helping with that. And then I'm going first, so I don't need to bench anything else until I see what I'm up against, and I see a Latios and a Alolan Vulpix, so definitely not what I was expecting. Probably gonna end up using Sycamore here, based off of what I have in my hand. I could go for a Karina, but I feel like that's a bit too slow, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set myself up. The big issue with my opponent starting the Latios is that he could break 2 Focus Ashes if I do decide to bench another Riolu, so that's why I'm gonna choose to bench the Diancie instead, already for the extra damage. A Muscle Band plus DC would be a knockout on my Riolu, or a Professor Kukui plus DC. Focus Ash, I feel like it's worth it purely for those awkward scenarios. So now he needs DC plus Muscle Band plus Field Blower, but my opponent just goes for the straight up Bridget, and he might not even have the DCE, or that's what we're hoping for. Definitely, that is what we are hoping for. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. We shall see how this goes. It is a Blastoise deck, apparently. Definitely not the most competitive expanded deck. This is a very, very nice top deck. So look, I'm going to commit another energy. I'm going to Floatstone the Octillery, and I'm going to go ahead and end here. I am able to find Lucario, which is nice, and I can get rid of these two energies. Get the Lucario and then immediately put them back. In an ideal world, I just want to find another Riolu just in case. So getting 3 more cards off of Abyssal Hand is going to be really nice here. I will go ahead and put these back into the deck so I can draw 3 cards rather than 2. And I do not find another Riolu. Not the biggest of deals, but definitely want to set that up sooner rather than later. The Latios is promoted. We might just see, yeah, we're gonna see a breakthrough, which is really nothing to write home about. And I don't mind committing a 3rd energy for the Cyclone Kick, or I could just Guzma and KO this Squirtle. Potentially a Blastoise if my opponent draws well of the Cynthia. So I don't know what the purpose of this deck is, but definitely not a very strong one. Definitely not a very strong one. So there's the Riolu, which is nice, and I'm just gonna go ahead and commit the energy. I mean, what am I actually worried about? Nothing really, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and Cyclone Kick. I mean, this game really doesn't show the potential of the deck whatsoever. Because we're not up against a serious expanded deck. Although, I mean, something that would definitely be terrible would be my opponent goes Rare Candy Blastoise into the new one or old one, no matter which one, and then gets an Alola Ninetales GX, the water type, and then powers up a Lucario. And I mean, powers up the Alola Ninetales and deals 160 damage and takes down my Lucario. That is absolutely worst case scenario. Is that what is going to happen right now? I hope the answer is no. But there is a chance now that we see the Blastoise with a powerful Squall ability. Is that right? Yeah, powerful Squall. We see a Fairy Energy attached, a Choice Pen as well. And we see an N. I mean, the Choice Pen doesn't really matter too much. Maybe I should have just hunted down the Squirtle. Maybe that would have been better. Well, there's the Fairy Ninetales GX, so worst case scenario might be in the books here. Worst case scenario might just be in the books for us. Communication and Field Blower. The Field Blower doesn't really matter because my Focus Sash is not working right now. Are we gonna see a Alola Ninetales, the water type? I would assume so. Yep. Oh my gosh. Worst case scenario did happen. Worst case scenario did in fact happen here. Wow. I predicted it. Yeah, he found 2 waters. More than 2. Oh gosh. I was saying my opponent's deck was not very serious. And then we get wrecked by a Blizzard Edge. Wow. Definitely was not expecting this. If I had KO'd the Squirtle, we would not have been in this sort of trouble. Interesting that he's running Latios. Don't understand why you would want that, but okay. So I am able to find the Lucario. The issue is I don't have an energy right now. And here's the interesting part. If I use Aura Strike, he can use Ice Path GX, right? To send the damage back, but then I use Cantankerous Beatdown, so I need the fighting energy, which I do get it. If he has Professor Kukui though, he will be able to KO me back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Aura Strike. Going without Professor Kukui will be able to one kill my Lucario GX. That would be awful, because then I'll only be left with one Lucario GX. Because my opponent very smartly removed the Floatstone, I wasn't able to attack with Baby Buzz, although that probably would have been a bad idea because I would have dealt 140. There's the Lele. No way we don't see Kukui, right? Absolutely no way we don't see Kukui. Oh, we see a Guzma. Oh my gosh. He's gonna exactly Guzma my Lele. Yikes. I mean, it's gonna be hard for my opponent to take the last two prizes, I think. You see the Guzma onto the Octillery. Okay. I'm okay with that. Thankfully, with the strong energy, I deal exactly 70 damage. Although I expect my opponent to heal, right? Fully expect my opponent to heal. My opponent only gets one energy off of the powerful Squall. And will actually decide to snipe rather than take it. Well, no, he still might choose to take a KO. Yeah, he chooses to take a KO. Okay. So, definitely not great. Octillery, definitely important for us. I will go ahead and Brooklet for Sudowoodo. I would have loved to grab another another Remoraid, but it is in fact priced. I know this is a cool part. I can Aura Strike for 70, right? My opponent can no longer Ice Path, so then he's going to use Blizzard Edge, hopefully without a Professor Kukui, right? And once he does that, no, he's gonna very smartly attack with Articuno. Which that is kind of okay. Well, unless he whips energy, but yeah, he's committing to the Articuno, so he's gonna retreat the Ninetales and then power it up again. So that's when I will Acerola and evolve into the other Lucario. Really interesting deck by my opponent. I definitely underestimated, and I predicted the worst case scenario. I didn't expect it, and then it actually ended up happening. So definitely gonna Acerola here. I did Acerola the previous turn on my Lele because I knew something like this could have happened, although I could have Lele'd for Karina plus for Karina into the into Scoop Up Cyclone plus another Lucario, but this is fine, right? This is a-okay. Definitely want to Focus Sash this guy just in case, and then I will Aura Strike. I couldn't Guzma, yeah, because of Articuno's ability. Blizzard Veil. If Articuno is active, then I can't play a supporter card that affects a benched Pokemon. We do see the Ninetales on the bench, and my opponent is playing Master Ball as his ace spec. Interesting. Interesting. We do see a Lele, presumably Lele for Guzma, right? Presumably Lele for Guzma probably goes after my Buzzwole. Correct? Yep. So it's gonna come down to if my opponent has another attacker. Well, actually, I would say the right place to go after the Lele, because you can, with a fairy, you can Sublimation GX KO the Buzzwole, but oh no, he has already used the GX attack. Never mind. Never mind. He fails the powerful Squall, which is good. And then here we're gonna grab Lucario off of this Karina. And it's gonna come down to, does my opponent have a Kuzma? And he has yet to play a single via Seeker. Not sure if my opponent's deck is actually too competitive or not, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Definitely gonna Karina for this, and for this, just in case, right? And so my weakest Pokemon is the Sudowoodo. So I do believe, okay, this is dealing enough damage. The issue is I don't have, no, I should have grabbed the Scoop Up Cyclone. Well, I'll grab the Riolu, I guess. No, why did I grab the Focus Sash? That was literally the worst card I could have grabbed. That was literally the worst card I could have grabbed. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. And then I'm gonna Focus Sash the Riolu. And I will take 2 prizes. The Focus Sash is definitely not the best card to get though, I think. Not sure. Get Remoraid and a Fighting Energy, not the best cards here. Because I don't have any target I can KO next turn to win. So it's gonna take me 2 turns to win still. Unless my opponent steals and attacks into Lucario, which I don't expect him to do. I mean, if this is gonna be the case, then I definitely end to 1, right? I definitely end both of us down to 1 card. It's gonna be a tough matchup here though. If my opponent is able to attack with the Ninetales, then that would be trouble. Blastoise's ability is so good. It's like, it's a lot more balanced. He is down 9 water energy though, and the 1 fairy, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens here. I am nervous because I don't have the win next turn. Right, I don't have the win next turn. If I had grabbed the Super Scoop Up Cyclone, I would have had the win next turn. Okay, attaches energy to the active. Is he gonna swing into me? After all this time trying to play around the GX? Oh my gosh. What? He already had the fairy. He can't attack into me though. He has to play a Kuzma. Ooh, he goes for the end, trying to make me whiff an energy, I guess. Okay, so I guess that's the game we play. Oh my gosh, the Kuzma. And he floats Stone to Blastoise very smartly. Okay, so goes for Sudowoodo. Definitely gonna discard the Lele. Doesn't matter, right? Not really matter. Maybe it was better to discard the real. Okay, my opponent actually attacks into me. Oh my gosh. This is not great. And my opponent immediately concedes. Why? I mean, he was going to 3-hit KO me, but I didn't have the energy. Like, if you're making that play, you might as well see if I have it or not. Anyway, huge props to my opponent. That was a really cool deck. Definitely something I underestimated. But anyways, guys, unfortunately I can't pick who I play against, but this deck I feel like is really, really powerful if there's going to be a lot of Pikarom in your expanded tournaments. as I believe has been happening, right? I heard of a leak up that had that had a player play against PIKACHU 6 out of 7 rounds, which makes sense that he destroyed that leak up with a Lucario deck with 4 Focus Sash, I believe. So if you're expecting a lot of PIKACHU, this is definitely the deck to go to. A B-String could be added to the deck to make sure that you have the extra firepower. I do believe my opponent made a small mistake when he targeted the Octillery instead of the Lele. That was the 1 price difference, and he could have actually done that. So anyways, guys, that will be all from me. Sorry for the shorter videos, but I hope you guys understand. And for those of you who watched until the end, here are a couple of code cards. Here's a Crimson Invasion code card and another Crimson Invasion code card. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for your support, and I'll be back for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.